Hey guys, welcome to Movie Freak 88. This is a brand new YouTube channel where I'm going to be talking about movies. We're going to be doing some Blu-Ray hunts, we're going to be doing some unboxings, and we're also going to talk about new movies. We're also going to talk about some awesome old movies. So I hope you guys really enjoy this stuff out there. Again, just let me know down below if there's anything else you guys want to see from me. And hopefully we can kind of get to know each other, and I can get some fans out of this, and I can become fans of some of your stuff. So I just think this is going to be just a kind of a fun experiment for me. I've never done this YouTube thing before, but I just see a lot of people that I really enjoy watching. I'll throw out some names out there. Chris Stuckman, Cool Duder's awesome, What Movie One's cool. Just seeing people going out and buying Blu-Rays, I've always loved doing that. That's just a thing that I've always liked doing. And I also like reviewing movies also. So let's go ahead and get started, and we'll talk about some cool stuff here, okay? Okay guys, so the first thing that we have up is some Target deals that I got. It's 20% off using the cartwheel of all movies at Target right now. That's kind of an awesome deal. So I thought I'd go there, check out what they had, maybe pick up some titles that I'd seen before or not even seen before. I was a little disappointed though. I was hoping that they'd have Evil Dead, the original one, on Blu-ray. They said they'd have it. They didn't have it. Target's Blu-ray selection isn't the best. But let's go ahead and get started here. So first up is Sicario. So Sicario was directed by Denis Villeneuve. I believe that's how you pronounce that. Is a French-Canadian filmmaker who is doing extremely talented. I've never seen Prisoners. I've actually never seen all of film of his. I've seen some of Enemy. I kind of meant to finish watching that one. I never got around to it. It was beautifully shot, but it's just a very infuriating plot line. I just think that was just more for the story itself. I was really hoping to check out Prisoners. I hear it's a real mindfuck. But Sicario got great reviews. It went to Cannes last year. It did very well there. And I'm really hoping to check this out. Benicio del Toro is always great. Almost something similar like him in Traffic, almost, is what it seemed like. And Emily Blunt's in this one, too. You also have Josh Brolin. I think he's going to play some kind of shady CIA guy. So we'll all see how that kind of works out. And I'll definitely get back to you guys with a review on this one. Just trying to see if this one's any good or not. I'm sure it is. I've heard great things. Actually, a guy at the checkout when I was buying this asked me if I'd seen it. I told him no, not yet, and he said it was a great film. So I'm getting really pumped up to check this one out. Alright, next up guys, we've got The Witch. The Witch is directed by Robert Eggers, that's right. It made a big splash last year when it came out as this kind of, sounds like a Kubrickian horror film a little bit. This kind of slower paced, atmospheric horror film. I checked out a couple minutes of the film earlier this morning. It was very interesting. I can definitely see why a lot of people maybe won't like it. I think it's something that's going to be right up my alley, as long as it's just not too out there, too pretentious. I think there is a line there. It's a delicate line to make a great film, but I've heard just really good things about this one. And it just sounds like a film that I was probably really much would enjoy this one. Oh, real quick, just going over here, so some of the deals that I got going on here. The Witch I got for $8, so it's on sale for $10 right now at Target. And then also you got going on here the 20% off cartwheel deal, so I got this for $8. And Sicario was $15, but after the deal I think it was like $12, something like that, brand new with the slipcover here going on both this and The Witch, so that's pretty cool. So another great deal I got here was The Simpsons 16th season. So I'm a huge Simpsons fan. I always have been ever since I was a really little, second or third grade I started watching. My parents weren't too happy about that. They saw how much I just really loved the show. I loved how clever it was. It really formed my sense of humor and what I really do love here. Past season 12 and 13, the show, yeah, it did take a little bit of a dive in quality, but I bought a later season. They got some great deals going on for some of the later seasons on DVD now, like $10 and less. And they're just fun to watch. They're just fun just to throw on in the background, just have a real good time with them. And it's just a lot of fun. On this one, on the 16th season, we got going out Treehouse of Horror 15. I don't really remember which one's on that. The only one I used to know is she used to be my girl. I think that's when Bart falls in love with an actress girl. And we have Midnight RX. I think that's when Homer and Grandpa smuggle pills from Canada over to America. And Homer and Ned's Hail Mary Pass. That one is, I believe, when Homer is really good at planning events and he plans the Super Bowl event, and it's supposed to be Christian with Ned going on. Those were pretty okay episodes from what I remember, but I got this after the deal going on here. I think it was something like $6.50 or something for the season. So that's just a great deal here. So I picked that up. And then I also got the 17th season along with that. That one, I remember actually a little bit more on here. The one I really liked was the Italian Bob. I think that's where Sideshow Bob, they find out he's living in Italy. And that was a pretty decent episode. And again, it was like $6, so I decided I needed to pick this up. Alright guys, next up here, I got Brian De Palma's Dress to Kill. So this was on sale for I think $8 at Best Buy. They rechanged the price. They're asking something astronomical, not like $20 worth. This isn't even the Criterion one. It's just, it's a retread of the special edition DVD. It looks good on Blu-ray. I've already watched this one before. This is probably my second time viewing the film. And to be honest, the older I get, the more I just can't get my finger on De Palma. I don't know if I really enjoy his films. I think he kind of overdoes it a little bit. Sorry, I have my little kitty here playing her Ham. My cat's name is Ham. Yes, that's my life. Oh, okay, alright, we'll put you down. She does like being held, though. Alright, so getting back to the film here. Again, there's something with De Palma I can't quite get my finger on. I don't know if I love the film, if I hated it. I think it was okay. I really want to rewatch Body Double. I know that's a lot of people's favorites. Really shit on when that came out. And a lot of De Palma films probably are. I felt this one was okay. I'd already known the twist. I already knew, spoiler alert, who the killer was. So it wasn't really much of a shocker here when I kind of found out or watched the film. But overall, it was enjoyable. I thought the build-up was, again, he does the whole Hitchcock thing. It's very, very similar to Hitchcock. It's got a long build-up, definitely with Angie Dickinson at the beginning of the film, as much like Psycho. Alright, well, we also got here, I got it on DVD, but it was real cheap. It was like $5. I have the first one and the second one, but not the third or the fourth one. And that's Friday the 13th, Part 3 and Part 4. I really actually like both of these films a lot. They're probably my favorites in the series, actually. Next to the first one and second one, I'd say number 2 and 3 are my favorite, and then I'd say number 1 and then number 4, and then just kind of the rest all kind of blend in together. Hi, kitty. And sorry, my cat's in my lap right now. And I just thought that these were really fun movies, and for $5, for $2.50 a piece, I just decided to add it to the collection for this year. Next up, I splurged a little bit on, but they had the complete Chucky collection at Best Buy for about $35. I'd seen the first one before, and I'd only seen parts of the second one before. Hey, kitty. So I kind of wanted to check it out. A lot of people online, like Cool Duder and What Movie One, had been talking about this before in past videos and said that that these were really fun movies. And I rechecked them out. Child's Play 1, it's a solid film. It's a good film. I think it kind of drags a little in the second act. I felt it should have been more about Chucky and less about the investigation behind Charles Lee Ray, I believe his name was. But anyway, I thought it was a solid film. I'm about halfway through Child's Play 2 right now, and that one's actually a really solid sequel as well. I believe Jenny Gutter's in that one too, from American Werewolf in London, and she's great in that. So I'm looking forward to just kind of turning my brain off and watching some of these. Next up, I've got David Cronenberg's The Fly. So I have seen this one before as well. I think I've seen it once or twice. again, Cronenberg's one of those directors where I would say I'm a fan of Cronenberg. I don't think he's ever made really a perfect film, though, outside of maybe Eastern Promises and A History of Violence. Two both great, phenomenal films. But then Yusuf Videodrome, I think, is probably his most, I think, interesting work. Is it a perfect film? No. Is it a great film? Yes. I thought Existence was very good as well. And The Fly, I felt, it's that more of that body horror. It's not as much of a horror film. It's more of, I guess, a portrait of somebody deteriorating, which I guess in itself is terrifying. But yeah, I picked this up. This was about $6 as well, and it's got the David Cronenberg commentary on here. I've listened to his commentaries before. He's very interesting. He's a very insightful person. So again, I'm looking forward to revisiting this one, and I think this is something that my girlfriend can watch. It's not too jump scary, but it's bloody and disgusting. So I think that's going to be right up her alley. All right. Well, we got the first Sinister film here as well. I think this was also like $6 at Best Buy, which is a pretty good deal for a pretty new film. With Ethan Hawke, I've seen this before as well. I thought this was a really solid film, and to be honest, I think this is one of the best opening shots of a film I've seen in a long time. I mean, this was just a really striking opening shot in this film here. And I'm not going to spoil for you, although it's the very first scene of the film, but it really stuck with me, and it was a very brilliant shot. It's almost like that was the first image of the film that the director came up with. So again, very excited to revisit this one as well. It was pretty scary. I think it was a little overrated when it came out. I thought it was good and feel it was as great as everyone's saying. But again, I'm hoping to really, really enjoy rewatching this one. Next up, I've also got The Conjuring 2 here. Never seen this one. I've seen the first Conjuring. Again, I felt it was a little overrated. I thought it was a good film. I didn't think it was even that scary. I thought Insidious was of James Wan's work was much scarier. But Conjuring 2, I heard very good things about. The early reviews for Conjuring 2 were extremely positive. We're saying it's better than the first one. It's scarier than the first one. It's a modern horror masterpiece. And then people started going back on that a little bit, and then they were saying, it's good or it's not as good as the first one, which is disappointing, but I think I'm going to enjoy this one more than the first. I think it just sounds like it's got a more interesting setup. From the trailers I've seen, it has more interesting visuals, it has more complex, and just scares in general just looks fucking terrifying. So I'm really, really excited to check this one out too. Also got here is Crimson Peak by Guillermo del Toro. Again, another film that was kind of the opposite of Conjuring 2. Had very mediocre reviews when it first came out, and then has come back and has people talking about how great it is now. So it almost kind of going under the radar, kind of almost already getting forgotten though. I have seen a couple people talking about it still though. I'm very, very interested in watching this one. I am a Guillermo del Toro fan. I've seen most of his films. Pan's Labyrinth is a masterpiece. Even Hellboy. Hellboy 1 is good. Hellboy 2 is an excellent film. Even Mimic, which is kind of an okay film, but I understand it was destroyed by the U.S. distributors when it came out. But Crimson Peak, I know Guillermo del Toro wanted to make At the Mountains of Madness, almost kind of like a period piece. I almost feel like this was kind of his test to doing a Lovecraft film. And unfortunately, Crimson Peak did not do well. But again, from what I understand, he talks about in the commentary, I hear the commentary on this is astounding. I hear this is just a great commentary, and you can't wait to give this a listen. I've only heard parts of Guillermo del Toro commentary before, but he's extremely intelligent, very insightful, very well spoken. So very interested in checking this one out too. But I love all the actors in this one. This is the first one I'm going to kind of break down for you here. So it's got Tom Hiddleston in it. It's got Jessica Chastain, who's phenomenal in pretty much everything she does. Mia Wasikowska, I believe her name is, and Charlie Hunnam. I've seen his face before. I don't really recognize the name though. but Mia Wasikowska is phenomenal in most everything she does as well. So I'm a big fan of the cast here. Visually, it looks just absolutely stunning. I just hear that it was kind of plagued that it's kind of a gothic romance at first, and it's not really a standard horror film. What I also have up here, which I rewatched part of the other day, and it's just, I mean, I love classic cinema, I love intelligent, thoughtful cinema, but I also love to just sometimes turn my brain off and enjoy something crazy. And something fucking absolutely batshit nuts is Arnold Schwarzenegger in Commando. Just one of the most insane films ever made. Before the credits roll, like 4 people are brutally murdered in some of the most ridiculous ways, and then you have Arnold Schwarzenegger in a sappy musical montage with his daughter eating ice cream and laughing and feeding a doe, feeding like a baby deer, and while he's laughing, it's just so fucking amazing. And then he goes on over the next 90 minutes to murder like 300 people. It's absolutely ridiculous, but I think it's an 80s classic. Again, I don't really like films like this, but this one just really struck a chord with me. I thought it was so funny and so fun, and I think that you just can't not have a great time with this film. Okay. Last but not least here is An American Werewolf in London, the remastered version. There was a lot of controversy regarding this transfer. I'll take a look. I'm not a Blu-ray transfer expert or anything like that. I do not own the original Blu-ray. I own the 2-disc DVD, which I watched multiple times. The film's never looked great on home video. It's always looked extremely grainy. It's never looked phenomenal. But with this, from what I've seen, I think it will make me happy. This is a personal favorite film of mine. I've never thought it was incredibly funny or scary. It just works though. It's incredibly fun. The pacing is great. It's just so good. This is a film that my mom had recommended to me when I was about 12 years old, that she was a really big fan of because it has some Creedence Clearwater Revival in it in the middle during right before the transformation. Great song, brilliant transformation. It's been talked about a billion times before. I'm not going to get into it. But just a really fun film from beginning to end, and it flows incredibly well. Alright, I think that's going to do it for my first video with us here. I think we may do some unboxings a little bit, talking a little bit further about these films. And once I watch some of these, especially Crimson Peak, the rest of the Chucky series, The Fly, I'm really looking to revisit this one. And this is the one that's got the little cardboard cover on it that certain places do. I know a lot of people don't like them. I think they're kind of cool. The problem with them is that you can't fit them back into the case. So I think if you want to hold on to it, you got to cut it. And I think I may trim it a little bit just to keep it in the case because I think it kind of looks cool. But yeah, I'm definitely excited to get some reviews. I'm not going to be doing reviews on Simpsons. I love The Simpsons. It's great. If you want some, check it out. But besides that, I think that'll do it for me here. Again, I'm Movie Freak 88. This is my first video here. And I'm hoping that, again, we can do in the future. I'm going to release some commentaries of films. I've done a commentary for The Neon Demon. Very excited to share that with everybody. I'm a big Refn fan. I've also done a partial commentary on The Shining. I'm looking forward to finishing that. I'm also really looking forward to doing one on Only God Forgives as well, a really in-depth analysis and my thoughts on that film, as well as I want to try and maybe see what you guys think down below if you have any suggestions that you want to see. We're not just going to be doing commentaries. We're also, I'm going to be going on movie trips and picking up some Blu-Rays. We are going to be doing unboxings. I am going to be reviewing modern films as well as old films, and that's where I really want to focus this channel on, is talking about great films. Not necessarily new or old, just phenomenal films that maybe if you haven't heard of, maybe I can tell you about, or you can tell me about some, and we can check that out. There's a lot of classic films that I have seen and that I love that probably not a lot of people have seen. There's also a lot of classic films that I haven't seen yet. I haven't seen all of Lawrence of Arabia. I haven't seen all of Touch of Evil. And I want to share my opinions on those classic films with you once I see them, and just see what I think on the film and see what you guys think, because you guys are going to be important to this channel, and I hope that we can have a lot of fun talks here. Alright guys, take care. See you next time.